Awesome. Hello world. Excited to bring you the new setup. Well, technically, it's the same kind of setup, but you can get to see more of it. With this nice new camera, able to tune the shutter speed to the CRT back there, which is awesome. I've also introduced the PSP view. So if you're on YouTube, you'll see the PSP under my screen there. And we have a lot to talk about, a lot of crazy challenges I've given myself. So just a little reiteration of how the system works. You might see some random avatars scattered on your screen. Those are driven by the YouTube and Twitch and Kick live chat. So anyone that interacts with us via live chat, they automatically get an avatar that spawns into this live stream, just like so.
Hello, I am an avatar.
You can see there's a little chat bubble that pops up for them. Everybody gets a unique color, everybody gets a unique voice. And there's 1,010,000,000 things that I want to do with this system. Just because it's working as it has been and it's working pretty well doesn't mean that I'm anywhere near done, anywhere near complete. We're going to continue on with it. So I brought in my other laptop tonight. This one is dedicated specifically to building a web version of the avatar chat that hooks into YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and all that, and puts it on that PSP. That is a live feed you see on the screen over there. Let's switch over for our guests on Twitch and Kick if they stumble into this, so you see what I'm talking about as well. You also get to see my code environment, which is the top of the screen. As usual, make sure you do like and just interact. This is all real time, all live, and it's quite a bit fun actually. It's definitely grown on me. So PSP is a nightmare to code for on the web specifically. Being able to manipulate the document object model on the PSP web browser is almost non-existent. There's no such thing as create element. There's no such thing as inner HTML. So we're essentially going to have to create our own DOM renderer, kind of like a really nasty version of reactive view, where we're going to have our own shadow DOM, and we're going to use document.write to essentially regenerate the entire page when new tiles are added or new avatars join the world. Just a reminder, guys, watching on YouTube, take code questions, talk about JavaScript, talk about all sorts of code languages here. Not really focused on the retro stuff, but I love it. Like, that's what I mess with day to day outside my job and stuff. So you might see a Commodore 64 up there, you might see a Mac SE30 behind me, and of course the PSP live feed, which is actually behind my chair. I've got a little desk set up with a little camera overhanging it. There's no video out on the PSP. The PSP did have a PSP TV that has video out, but I don't have one of those. And I encourage you, test out the avatar system. Just type in the live chat, say hello, and you'll get to see your impact on the stream immediately. Other people will get to see it as well. And yeah, a lot of fun. So just taking a quick look, see how we're doing everywhere else, make sure this is coming through well. As usual, there's nothing going on over there. I'm going to have to get another keyboard and mouse. So I got this nice keyboard, right? It's absolutely brilliant. Mechanical keyboard. It's one of those off-brand names on Amazon. But it's got a beautiful click to it. I love this thing. And it does let me have like free Bluetooth connections plus wired and little dongles. So technically you can connect it to like 5 different devices at once. Brilliant, right? This mouse, I also like it a lot. The problem is I can only connect it to 2 computers. I have to control more than 2 computers, so I'm suffering. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to commit the code that I currently have in this MacBook onto our main development environment, which is what you get to see on screen, which is, if this is the right mouse, over here. So yeah. I did start, I'm almost done editing a video as well for the PSP experiment. Actually, let me start that up if I can reach over it without spilling anything. Look at that. It looks really primitive, right? And it is. But essentially what we have there is individual tiles rendered into a room. We have 2 items loaded and 1 avatar. My job is to take the existing rooms that exist in this whole game that I've coded, which is integrated into YouTube live chat. Like if you were to literally ask me a question right now, you'd pop up on the screen and we'd all hear you. So what I need to do is implement a renderer like this on the PSP. And it's just as barbaric as far as what's available. JavaScript support, alright. It's like version 3 of ESM. I can deal with that. That's where I started when I first started learning how to code when I was about 12. The problem is not having necessary control over the DOM. So yeah, let's just work our way through it. Please make sure you like this video. It helps the channel out, it helps me out. And we actually bring more people on. So even if you don't want to chat, help bring other people on the chat. It makes this more entertaining. Otherwise, I'm literally just looking at camera LEDs and assuming there's other people on the other side of that. Yeah, I don't think I would enjoy this very much if I didn't have this system coded in the first place, and I've not had like the great experiences I've had so far. All right, we're connected to the right computer here. So I just need to start formulating my thoughts here. So we have no control over creating new elements dynamically via create element or populating an element in a HTML. So the one thing I did confirm is we do have document write. And if you know anything about document write, it essentially overwrites the entire web page. I'm not sure if it literally destroys like even the head tag. Let's just try that right now actually. Let's see, can we literally just do it right here? Let's find out. Document.write testing. Doesn't let me do it there. Let's see if we do it in the Google homepage. All right. So as you can see, document.write replaced at least everything in the body. Let's inspect this. Okay. So yeah, even destroyed what's in our header tag. Absolutely incredible. Might be worth doing some more research to see. Like, it'd be one thing if we could do document.write and it destroys our entire page in the PSP, right? That'd be fine if we could at least capture and then re-render them. And from what I can tell, we can't. That's why we have to essentially do like a shadow DOM, which is nuts. But I want to see this through. It's been a while since I've given myself a fun challenge like this. I've only been to like one hackathon in my entire life, and I stayed up 24 hours with it, for it with my friend Gray. And he came down to Florida for about 6 to 8 months. He was actually 17 at the time. And we ended up in Miami. And yeah, we got into chaos down there. I don't know if it was that event. I think it was actually another event. Zari Radio is kind of like a Pandora or Spotify for Latin America. They were hosting some sort of event. Gray and I went there, and we decided we were going to literally, while we were there, start coding a music search engine based on the Axid API, something we'd already wrote previously, which indexed Tumblr for MP3 files and then indexed them into a database. And then we made those searchable. So essentially, we created our own music library containing 1 million+ links to active MP3 files. Well, we didn't get Sanzari's attention, but we got the attention of a photographer there. So, you know, Sanzari hired a photographer to take pictures of the event, and he right away immediately focused his camera on Gray and I. I should actually reach out to the guy and see if we could get hold of his pictures. It's probably about 10 years ago now. And he came over to us. He's like, guys, I love your look. You're coming to this gallery showing. It's happening tomorrow night. And he asked what car I drove. Like, it was one of those events. And I told him it was like a Mustang. And it was only a couple of years old at the time. He's like, you should be okay. Well, anyway, we got in there. And it was definitely an event for the rich, to put it politely. One of the most notable characters there was a Haitian guy dressed in to the nines, nice suit, surrounded by literally no less than half a dozen Russian or Ukrainian women. And he walked up to us and he's like, welcome to the event. And, you know, we started talking about what we're doing, what we're coding. And he's like, you know, that's very, very interesting. Do you have a business card? Both Gray and I looked at ourselves and, you know, felt our pockets like, no, we didn't bring them. And he's like, that's the last time you'll ever meet me and not have a business card on you. And he's like, enjoy your night, gentlemen. And he walked away, didn't say another word to us. So what ended up happening was there was a DJ who was, you know, obviously DJing the event. Forgot his name. But he was good at what he did. And we ended up selling the guy a website without even trying. He's like, you know, I need a website to do my promotions and stuff. Like, would you do one for like 6,500? And they're like, hell yeah, dude, we'll do it. So this is the second night we're in Miami, and I'm driving back to Palm Beach County every single night. And we had to roll out the next morning to go into the hood of Miami to go pick up $6,500 in cash from the DJ. So it was crazy. And yeah, shows you what's possible when you put yourself out there. And I'm not so good at doing that. Gray was definitely an extroverted personality, and definitely helped me get out there. Shame you're not here, Gray. Choose you're about now. All right, let's carry on with the testing. Arts, how are you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I'm not sure why it didn't read out your comment because I forgot to hook the system up. Hold on. I appreciate your support. So check this out, Arts.
Arts says, yeah boy, let's go collision high voltage.
Awesome. Yeah, I love when it just works. So essentially what you just seen happen there is what I'm going to be trying to bring over to the PSP. I won't be able to implement a TTS system, text to speech, but we will be able to at least get avatars, control by live chat, and get the speech bubbles. So that's the goal. It's going to require all sorts of craziness to make that happen, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. All right. Flash this a couple of times and update our stats. So if you look at the top of the screen on YouTube, right, we populate that dynamically, so you see the stream just got some health. That's because of the viewers. Let's pull in our subscriber count at 3260. Please subscribe, and let's populate our likes. Look at that. So now any if someone else likes the stream, someone else subscribes, or additional viewers come on, or just bail, you get to see that referenced here. Sorry, Kick and Twitch, I don't have that included for you guys right now, but you are included in the chat system. Let's fire up Kick on this local environment just to demonstrate such. And then we'll get back to some PSP coding. All right, there we go. We have Kick chat up. I know you guys are a wee bit crazy. That's why we have a little bit of AI going on in the background. All right, back to our problem. PSP web browser, once again, doesn't have the ability to dynamically create elements via create element or populating an element's inner.html. Inner HTML, I keep saying dot. Okay, let's try to get my CRT to sync with my camera. Got that sorted. What's it? 160. Basically got that working nice. Dropped the ISO to about 400. Coming through beautiful. Continuing on here. Yep, so we confirmed that document.write essentially wipes out all the elements on the page. Head tag and body tag. Just clears them out. Absolutely nuts. Oh. Yeah, I know insert adjacent HTML is definitely not defined on PSP. Oh boy. Also, obviously, there's no debugging on the PSP. Essentially, we wrap our initialize function in a try catch and just alert the result. That's all we have there. And there's nothing for documentation for what's available. And the browser's called NetFront. Yeah, limited capabilities. That's an understatement. It does support Flash. Oh, here's a developer wiki for the web browser and PSP. We're gonna have a wee look at this before we do any more code. Just a wee look.
One new subscriber.
Do you see those little random characters on my screen? That's not by accident. That's literally controlled by live chat. That's where those guys come from. So that's you. Test it out. Let's talk about coding. Talk about something as I try and...
As a beginner programmer, I can barely wrap my head around what you're building. But I know enough now to recognize that it's seriously impressive work, exploding head, shaking face with spiral eyes.
Arts, I definitely appreciate you, buddy. How long have you been programming and what are you looking to code? I'm curious if you have a pet project yet. And please, any questions or any way I can help, let me know.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. See, it comes alive, right? And everybody gets a unique voice. So if someone else was to join in the chat, they would sound different than you. That way, by ear, I can start to associate the voice with who's talking. This isn't very much information. But Arts, the challenge here is to basically bring YouTube live chat to the PSP, which is behind me. So that's the challenge. We're just going to be tapping into the system I've already created, but none of the code I've written other than like the data sources could actually be used in this. So we have to build it all from scratch. And there's severe limitations in what's possible. Like it's going to require all sorts of hacks to even get a chat bubble on screen that contains your message without reloading the page. So I'm just trying to dig in a wee bit and see what's available. So that's why we're looking at some other folks' write-ups on the PSP browser. So it was released in 2004. And yeah, we have so little control over it. But funnily enough, the first games and websites I ever wrote was for the PSP because I didn't have my own computer. I had to essentially use my mum's when she was asleep. So I'd build what I could at night so I could play it and chat to people the next day on my PSP. And I put banner ads on it, Google AdSense, and encourage people to click the ads. Don't do that, it's against the terms of policy, but I was like a child. And yeah, I started making money doing that. But more importantly, I learned how to code. And it's a lot easier to build things today, even though it's got a little bit more like abstract and complicated. It's easier, if that makes sense. You have so much available in the web browser. It's essentially, the web browser is the desktop of 20 years ago. Everything you could do in a desktop then, you can do in the browser today.
You the opcoder cool.
Appreciate you. What language are you working on learning? Are you looking into getting into web development, or are you going elsewhere? Oh, this is the PlayStation 3 browser. Let's see. I wonder if we can... This is going to require pulling out all sorts of craziness. Still makes sense for my head. Okay, so these are the... Okay, so load this on the PSP to get some more info.
Web development.
Okay, awesome. Great choice. Great choice. So web development is definitely more specialized. Before back-end and front-end development were combined, and they were referred to as server and client-side development. But today, in most corporations, you'll find that the roles open will be for like front-end, which is your JavaScript, your React, your Vue, your Angular, and back-end could be anything. Okay, so this is designed for PSP. You might want to look at the source here. If this can actually run on PHP, let's take the PSP. Let's have a look at the script source. Where is it? It must be in the page. Yep. Here we go. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to load this. So he is able to at least set properties on existing elements, but I don't see him creating any new elements. Which is what I need.
When I'm trying to learn React and front-end, I see people using the cursor to build it without any coding knowledge. That's not fair at all.
Alright, so I could totally get why that's discouraging. But I do want to give you like some affirmation that you're going about it the right way. While you can use AI to quickly throw together components, they're going to lack the ability to know how to like architect a system, how to basically build anything unique or cool. Never mind scale it. And you'll be more effective at utilizing AI yourself by actually learning the fundamentals. It's kind of like, you know, a lawyer using ChatGPT to help him with his work, as opposed to a layman try to like fight a court case using ChatGPT. And that's how I see it. It's kind of, you're just going to be better equipped to actually build things and even utilize AI yourself by go down the path of learning. They encourage us to use the AI, you know, the Copilot and stuff, but this certainly became a huge problem in code reviews because certain teams use it more than others. I'm not going to say which countries do what, but it's generating a lot of unreadable code that people implementing it don't really understand. So it's led to a lot of PR rejections, let's put it that way. But I can totally see why it's discouraging. It is, but there's no lack of demand for experts in the field. And like I said, it'll just make you better in the long run, learning the systems yourself and then using AI to help you with things that you already know how to do. And you know, you can use it as a tool to help explain concepts to you as well. But people that I see that just vibe coding, like this whole system I built up here is, if you look up the technology called WebRTC, I can share my desktop. So this is how I share my coding environment into the stream. And I built all this from scratch, and it was a pretty complicated system to implement. But incredibly powerful. So this is how I basically assemble my streams. Like, look, if I scroll the Visual Studio Code behind it, it scrolls this.
Bro, I got a computer network exam to attend today, smiling face with tear.
No problem. Cheers for checking in, and good luck with that. You got it. And make sure you're subscribed if you can. Appreciate you. Right, we should probably commit this code. Ooh. Right. They're going multiple computers here, but we're going to get the PSP code committed into the Git repo, pull it into this computer, and we'll show you some.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. We'll show you some dirty JavaScript from 2004. One thing I could just do to sort of have to keep clicking reload on the PSP, just have it reload every couple of seconds. So as I make changes here, we'll be able to see them pop up. We should be able to trigger a window reload in a timer. So let me just go ahead and do that. There's no get attribute. For goodness sakes. So I think it'll be helpful to just build up a list of all the methods that are not available on PSP. Because we could always commit that to the Git repo, so people will eventually Google this in the future if they're crazy enough. Well, to see that someone has tried to take the time to tell you what you can't do on the PSP. So we don't have that. Which requires us to use document.write. What I have to do is I'm going to have to dig out source code. So I've got like a stack of 10 drives, and I'd say about 80% of them dead. And it goes back to when I was about 12. I don't know if it's just Florida, you know, just the air's bad for hard drives that are like mechanical, because all the heads eventually got stuck. And very annoying, because I wrote games specifically for the PSP back then that are on those drives, they're not available. And if you go on Rage Zone today and you Google, if you look on Rage Zone for my project, Kynto, you'll literally see posts going back to about 2008. And also Knut World.
Alexander says, I'm like a month into learning front end. I've barely scratched JS.
Rain again says what we build in.
Awesome. Cheers for checking in, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe so we can get more folks on here. And let me start answering. So Alexander, you're a month into learning front end. I've barely scratched JS, and I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. Well, if it makes you feel any better, doesn't matter how much experience you have coding in JavaScript or any language. If you really are honest about it, like I am, you're always going to kind of feel that. You just get more confident knowing that you'll be able to figure out problems that need solved. That's literally what programming is at the end of the day. I have 20 years in this, and I'm learning stuff every day. Right, and what are we building? So first off, the whole concept of this channel was building an avatar chat system with text-to-speech, which is powered by the YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Discord
is this the subscribers
chats.
thing?
Subscribers thing. Not sure what you mean. But this is like the big part of what I'm coding, right? So what I'm doing tonight though, is I'm trying to get a version of this working on the PSP, which is a web browser that's about 20 years out of date. And even when it was released, it was incredibly basic. So it's a painful exploration into just how far we can push the PSP web browser. But the end goal is to have avatars and chat bubbles from YouTube popping up on that. So I'm just kind of going through and stumbling through and figuring out what doesn't work on a PSP, such as create element and inner HTML, which you need either one of those methods or properties to dynamically update elements on the page.
It's the YouTube thing.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. And it's, whoa, look at all those likes, guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe. That's awesome. And just so you know, this is a pretty crazy system. You're just seeing like it's stripped down for the purposes of the stream tonight. We're keeping it clean. I've implemented all sorts of technologies here, like WebRTC. This is how I'm doing code capture. This is how I'm displaying some of my wireless cameras. It's all through this system. It's kind of like a ultra advanced stream overlay. And it's just fun to build. And like I was saying to Alexander, you never stop learning. And I use this as kind of a sandbox to push limits, because my job doesn't give me those opportunities, even though I'm well paid to do what I do there. That is it.
It grew a lot. I was here when there was no tile maps yet.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm really glad that you came back to see it as well. That's really cool. I appreciate you. Yeah, this amazing system. And just so you know what's going on here with this terrain generation, I'm just using Perlin noise to generate height maps. I like it though. It gives like a lot of different perspective. But you can also, like, it's a fully programmed world. You can move stuff around, you can decorate spaces. And yeah, I'm doing a little bit of procedural generation as well. Jump. There's commands in the live chat that you can control stuff with. Look at that. I can go on my eye. And just a little refresher on the tech stack here. This whole system is driven by WebSockets. The game layer is implemented in canvas tag. So essentially, you know, we're doing blitzing, we're drawing sprites 60 times a second. And that gives us like this whole little isometric world. And then the UI, which is behind and in front of the canvas tag, is implemented in React. So, and then the server is implemented in Node.js and has WebSocket support. So there's two-way communication between the client. And then this whole system and avatar movement is actually implemented on a peer-to-peer system called WebRTC, which is WebSockets without a server. Basically, each tab or every instance of someone that's on this page is a server themselves. So there's like a mesh network. Really cool technology. The only places I've really seen WebRTC really utilized is stuff like Teams, maybe GoToMeeting, Zoom, anything with like video calling and web. There's bigger companies that made use of WebRTC, and it's free. You can just use it to build into the browser. Really, really powerful stuff. It's another thing. So I have this whole system that controls OBS. Get some updates to push out to that. Twitch is active. No, it's not. Let's activate Twitch. Please, any questions or any advice or any feedback on my crappy code, please feel free. You can also find Discord links in my profile. I do encourage you to join that. We've got a lot of folks over there that are in all stages of learning web development, and it's an awesome place. Okay. Ooh, why isn't Twitch going up? It's already active. Oh yeah, we're good. And Discord, let's start that up. We might already be active in there. Uh-oh. I think I might have broke the Discord implementation, but I've not pushed any updates for that. Now we have our whole TTS panel that I have to come back and finish implementing. The whole idea with this guy was to make a text-to-speech chorus. So instead of just stacking TTS messages, we could play 1, 2, or 3 of them back almost at the same time in different volumes and different pans to kind of make it sound like we're in like a coffee shop or like a bar. And the cool thing is, for me to test this, I could just connect this to someone else's Twitch channel or YouTube channel as like a ton of activity going on. So I've got to see this work with a lot of people, and it's kind of crazy. Let's actually go ahead and demonstrate that. All right, so I'm going to find a pop-in YouTube channel that has a lot of chat going on, and we're going to run it on my local host. And you're going to see a bunch of avatars be created. It's kind of chaotic, but let's go for it. All right, so I need to find a live stream, maybe a game one. Okay, a chess live stream, that's perfect. Okay, so I have an ID here.
I'm new to backend, I don't know much yet, and TBH I'm kinda lost.
What, specifically what language are you working on backend? Are you looking with like Java, C#, Python, nodejs? All right, let's tie into this guy. Wrong system. So we're going to connect to this. Oh, he said he was playing chess. He's not playing chess. All right, while I'm doing this, let me just go ahead and drop a Discord link in the chat. But the easiest way to get to Discord is just to click my profile. It does take you off the live stream, which is not ideal, but at least you'll be able to click in. But let me post this in real quick. We'll pin it. I'm going to update our like counter.
Thank you for helping bring on more avatars. 6 likes now.
All right, so back to demonstrating our TTS system. If you guys have any recommendations for like a live stream that you want me to kind of hijack into the system, let me know. We can absorb any platform, Kick, Twitch, YouTube. I need to have a busy chat in order to show this really working.
What CRUD project would you highly recommend for someone starting to learn backend?
So I think it's really important. I could tell you a couple of routes to go down, but it's helpful for me in order to talk, like give you feedback to know what language that you want to pursue in backend development. I understand you early on, but what have you been messing with so far? then we can start talking about what databases you might want to integrate with and what ORMs you might want to connect with to actually, make it easy to work with. All right, we're going to use the YouTube API system that we're going to activate. All right, so this is a big stream. You see all these chats that came in. Any avatar that jumps means they just sent a message. So give us a wee minute to clear out. And there's not a ton of people. There's 2,300 people watching this stream that we're connecting to. But there's not a ton of people talking. So I'm going to keep finding another one. And you can see in my system here, we're pulling everything from YouTube. We're pulling profile pictures, their usernames. And to make this even crazier, I could go on Twitch and find the banging chat and connect this as well. And I do a lot of back-end development to integrate all these services. I do a lot on the front end as much as I possibly can. But when it comes to API integrations, you want to protect your keys. You want to protect your access tokens. So, like, web is really a blend of front and back end. I prefer to call it client and server side, but it's beautiful seeing the system just work. All right, so I suppose we could just find one on Twitch as well. We'll just connect a bunch of chats up. Okay. And it is running through moderation, so.
NV says, have you ever used Hyperswarm with P2P?
Oh, that's a great question. I've not. I'm looking it up right now, though. I wonder if there's support for Hyperswarm with WebRTC. So there's a project called Hyperswarm Web, and I really appreciate you bringing this up because my kind of like basic mesh network implementation kind of like has ran into limits, specifically when it comes to uploading video from like my iPhone into a peer-to-peer stream. Everyone that connects to it, right, is essentially getting their own upload. So how much can you do with that on a single device? So my kind of hacky way around that was implementing kind of a relay peers. So every one to three peers, they would essentially rebroadcast existing media streams, and then people coming in would connect to them instead of like my phone directly. But it's like messy to implement in practice. So I'm going to take a look into Hyperswarm Web. And do you have experience building with it? Assuming you must. It's like one of the things I love about kind of pushing out of the isolation and getting on here and showing what I'm working on is getting ideas and suggestions I've been running into by myself.
I have tried it once.
Okay, cool. Do you mind explaining like what you wanted to do with it, or
a decentralized chat app?
Okay, makes sense. Makes a ton of sense. Did you implement any media features, or was it like how far did you get with it? Interesting.
Like it supports a lot of things, but I couldn't do it.
Peer-to-peer is difficult. It's really, really difficult to get right. And if you look at, so there's something called WebRTC internals. I forgot the specific. Is it WebRTC? Yeah. So Chrome : //web-WebRTC internals. It'll show you all the active peer connections. And there's too many peer connections here. Like it's a really pain to get right. I did cut it down a lot, but I just have to do some work and actually get it to clean up and destroy connections that are not supposed to exist anymore. And it took a lot of code to get the system working in the first place. And yeah, so I empathize. It's difficult, and there's not a ton of resources, really. It really does come down to just learning how to work with it. Why isn't the viewer count? Okay, it's updated.
1 new subscriber.
That looks cool on screen now, having all this come together. It's awesome. Oh, come on, mouse. I'm gonna hook up some more chats here for this demo on my local host. This live stream dying, is that what happened? Okay, not one with girls in it, that would be bad chats. Alright, let's try this guy. See if our kick implementation is still working. So if I go to settings, kick. Oh crap, I hard coded it. Alright, 2 seconds. So we're gonna hop into our nodejs. Just add a text field real quick. Make this dynamic. Okay, start live, we get payload. Let's extract a channel name out of our payload. And we'll default it to my channel. But then we'll use this as a dynamic property. And we'll switch over to the React front end. What did I do wrong here? Why is it? Oh, okay, I see. We already did it. That's why. Oops. Now we need to go add a field on the front end here. It's being lazy. Let's just go grab what we did for YouTube already. We're just going to add an additional field in here. We might even have to restart the server because I already had it technically programmed on server side to kick channel. Okay. Let's hijack channel ID. No, we'll rename it. And we need to include this in our start live function, which should be here. Okay. So we're going to be connecting to Chicken Andy's Kick to generate avatars in this room. Let's make sure that the YouTube system's terminated. It looks like that person's live is dead. All right, oofed. So we can put in a channel name now. Let's see if it works. And it didn't. So let me take a look at my logs. It should be this guy. And streamers found. Okay, but we were starting Kick position. Oh, I see the issue. We do need to restart our server because we weren't actually using this channel name for anything. Okay. Yeah. So let's quickly do that. Oh, we're not running a Docker for this because it takes too long. Yeah, so let's try connecting to this channel. See if anything happens. There we go. So we're connected to Chicken Andy's Kick account. So you're gonna see a bunch of people spawn. Hopefully it's triggering moderation API. Yeah, it looks like it's going through my word filter at least. But this is what it would look like if we had a bunch of people chatting on our system. Obviously I have their chat muted. Let me just confirm it is running through moderation. I don't see it running through moderation. So let's go ahead and activate that. Yeah, it could be dangerous. So we're going to run it through our moderation system. And we're going to restart our server. That way I don't get in trouble. But the coolest thing about this system, and it, you know, I really need to use this as an opportunity to get some clips to bring people on this stream doing reaction, like visual reactions of how chatters are responding to other people's streams. Just connect to them and kind of like fill it in. So we'll run this. It should be going through moderation now. Yep, so you can see it's running through moderation system. That's why we're getting these category stores back. This was valid, so that got through. And you can see avatars spawning with no messages above them. That's because their message was rejected. Let's see. Yeah, see, this was rejected. I'm not going to read what it said, but that's good. System's working. Let's find. So one thing I actually want to do as well. Right now, there's a 1-to-1 service, like live chat per room. I want to have it so we can have multiple YouTube live streams populating a room. I think that'd be interesting, especially because I want to do full screen streams on YouTube for folks that are interested, that want to actually see my code properly. But the problem is, the only way that stuff gets served up on YouTube at all is to do portrait streams. So that's why I have this awkward format on YouTube, but it's grown the channel. All right, let's connect to someone else's chat.
Boom. Like number 7. You're helping this project grow.
Absolutely. Like, I'm just sitting here doing what I always do, just hoping that people are interested in this sort of stuff, like, find it. And like, yeah, it's an interesting situation to be in. It's cool though. Someone's spamming Chicken Andy's kick chat, look at that. I do need to rewrite the audio though. I want to hear what the TTS chorus sounds like. Let me see. Because it should be reading all these messages out on the TTS system, but you won't hear this because I'm not playing someone else's chat into my stream. So that's dangerous. But let's make sure it's working. I have to go in Firefox. Chrome gets funny. I recommend anyone that wants to be a better programmer or is getting into programming, have a pet project, have a sandbox. It doesn't matter if it never makes a penny. You're using it as a way to take what you learn and build it into something. And that's what this is for me. It's just intellectual workout. Plus, it, like, when you get a good job, like, you're not getting the opportunities to work with all the technologies you want to, so you're going to have to build your own stuff. And the thing is when you apply for another job in the future, like, they just want to see you being able to build stuff. So I can't tell you how many jobs I got just showing like little avatar chats that I built, and like being able to talk about it and like explain the technology, but also kind of like the hiring people can see my excitement for what I'm working on. They're like, yeah, all right, when can you start? And it's good stuff. How cool would it be to have all of this system just working on PSP? So there's a couple steps we could take tonight to make that a little easier to get to. So on the PSP side, so back when, back 20 years ago, I remember when JSON actually like became mainstay. Before that, we were all using XML for our backends. And even before that, people were just literally generating HTML partials and then doing XML HTTP requests, and then essentially replacing like a div's inner HTML with the contents of that call, which is hilarious. And then as web matured a little bit, or like the Ajax matured, people started using XML, so that they separated their data from their view. And they would have the front end render the XML, like the way we render JSON today. And like there's still services like SOAP and stuff that utilize XML. But And JSON makes so much more sense because it's literally JavaScript object notation. So you're essentially, you know, when you're working on the front end, like you get your data in literally primitive types essentially. It's way easier to deal with. The PSP, we don't have that. And we still need to actually confirm we can make an XML HTTP request. We don't have fetch. We don't have any of that. We're not gonna. Yeah. We're literally. Let's just see what Google says. Does PSP support XML HTTP request? Does. Good. What's the point of supporting a XML HTTP request if you can't update the contents of an element?
Killian Lindbergh AG says keep the good stuff coming. Like it, folded hands, subscribed, smiling face.
You're awesome. Thank you. Appreciate you. Very, very cool. And just so you know, there is a Discord link out there as well if you want to join the Discord. I appreciate your support. Looking for some more chats to connect to here, get the system flying. And then we'll get back to doing a middle layer. Ooh. A middle layer to take the existing APIs that I've stood up for this service and make them consumable for the PSP. There's only 32 megabytes of RAM we have available on the PSP. And I'm sure the web browser has access to less. So we're going to do what we can to work with those limits. So we might need to add a field. Oh, I do have. Okay, cool. So we're a connected Neon's chat on Twitch. We're running it through AI, so we're really pushing it. And I do need to generate a token. Let's go ahead and grab this one. And let's see what happens. So now we're connected to Kick and Twitch, two different channels. And I'm gonna look for a, look at it go, beautiful. And then I'm gonna look for a YouTube one. And we're just going to literally see what the limit is and the amount of avatars we can essentially render with an HTML5 system. I think it's a lot. I might need a bigger room to house them all. Just got me thinking. Logic that decides where an avatar should spawn. I don't even know if I'm checking if there's an avatar there already, so they might be grouping up on top of each other. I do have the grouping kind of natural, so it grows out in like a circle, so it should eventually slowly fill the room. But if it's not, how cool would it be if this was all people talking about building stuff, just talking shite? Oh man. Okay. Hopefully I don't get throttled from the moderation API, we'll see. So this is a live stream on YouTube with 137,000 people watching someone play Minecraft. Let's go ahead and pull that in. So we'll have free services active. So what was that again? That's YouTube. Go ahead and connect. All right, so now we have, oh my God, look at this. We have YouTube, we have Twitch, and we have Kick. So I need to go away to just see how many avatars are in this bloody room. We could always just inspect, well, the cool thing, we can just like, you zoom all the way out and zoom in, and there's just literally like hundreds of people chatting. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to load this up in Firefox, because that's where I have the the voice system working the best. Chrome has some sort of weird security issues that I don't know if it's just Mac right now that like, no, it should be coming out. I'm seeing the audio icon populate, but I'm just not hearing it. All right, well, let's connect to Firefox. And hopefully I can demo the actual audio to you guys as well. That would be cool. So this is going to be logged out because I'm going to be logging into Firefox. And we'll see what happens. Wow, look at all those avatars. All right, so I might. I'm going to unmute this so you guys can hear what I'm hearing. Oh, I'm scared to. Well, let's stop. It might have overridden the system. Hold on.
It is, because I think we're going to be storing our inventory like that.
Oh, what do I need? I need to be logged in as the. It'll definitely be good for clipping. I'm gonna log into my administrator account here so I can play the chorus system. It's gonna. Oh my god! Look at them all. And it's not destroying the avatars that are already there, so there's probably a couple hundred easy. All right, I'm gonna trigger a queue, see what happens. I break it.
Using the other weapon. Where are you in game? My internet lag crying face.
Oh, I need to have the system open. I forgot. Damn it. I'm gonna have to add it to a popover so I can drag it out of the way. This isn't gonna be easy to clip. We'll trigger it again.
Hello everyone. Hype for this part.
That was buggy.
Try using the other weapon.
Moment.
Where are you in game?
My internet
Worth
lag.
367 test.
Let's stop that again. Let's go.
Don't forget to say.
You can see how I've essentially coded like a text-to-speech chorus. It sounds like chaos. We're connected to 3 different chat services like Neons, Twitch, and all sorts of crap.
I can call double.
That's pretty satisfying to like code stuff and have it work. Oh, we could run it here and then drag it. Perfect. So let's run it in here. Oh.
Hello everyone.
Can you check this code?
All right, I'm gonna have to start destroying avatars. There's way too many. And they're all look, they're all grouped up on each other. There's probably like 10 on each title. This is chaos. Alright, I'm gonna kill this before I get any trouble.
Do a 360.
This is so sick.
There's the hidden check.
Oh my god, look at the logs. This it's insane. Alright, we're killing it. Wow. Oh, that was chaos. That was brilliant. Oh. Just pick your poison. There's so many cool avenues to take this down. Let's take some notes. So we did a successful TTS chorus demo. Oh, but I did find an interesting problem. So to do the TTS system on the browser, I'm essentially taking advantage of the speech synthesizer. The problem with Chrome is you can only have one instance of speech synthesizer that's shared amongst all tabs. With Firefox, I was able to hack it by like creating iframes dynamically for each voice and then destroying the iframe when the message readout was complete. This is what it's all about, is finding ways to get it done. I'm going to take a quick wee break though, so I will be back. Oh cool, we got a first follower and kick. Awesome, thank you. That's really awesome. Alright, you're back. So you know, when I'm not here, you can control your avatar on the screen. You just have to type, like, move left, move right. You can jump, you can change your clothing, you can pick items, you can spawn items, all sorts of stuff. How are we doing on battery? Not too bad.
Snapple iPhone says check this out.
Alright. You should be able to hear me and see me. Or see what I'm looking at. But if you're seeing this, this is WebRTC working. This is just me and my iPhone in another part of the house. Here's the JavaScript Bible that I got when I was like 12. So I was figuring out I could code from PSP back in the day. One of the things I had. I wish the PSP supported half of this stuff. But I remember taking this back to Scotland with me. I essentially went truant in school in America, so I had to go back to Scotland for a while. I remember my great grandpa was like, so William, and I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, Yank, yeah. I'm like, no, grandpa. But he was impressed by the size of this book. I was just sitting there reading this JavaScript Bible. It came with a CD and it was just to what you're working on. A lot of stuff in isometric, assembly for the Commodore, user guides for the TI, tons of JavaScript, WebGL, even like this isometric game programming for DirectX 7.0, which is ancient. It contains a lot of information because this was like the height of the isometric era. Like it really started in the 80s. Because it's like, you know, pseudo 3D and 2D, so that's why isometrics used for game development, especially then. It's a personal favourite hypercard. And this actually contains a lot of methodologies that I took and implemented in the system here. Like everything's an event, everything's modular. And that's what made the hypercard system so powerful on the Mac. It's kind of like almost like web browser like development, but it was for Mac apps. Where you could assemble all sorts of crazy stuff with it. What else? Obviously a bunch of stuff in Scotland. And then you got your religious texts, my personal favourite. Come on, man. You got that. When I moved to America, I was handed this the first day, and I had a new name for me, and it looked Hopefully that WebRTC test came in okay. We'll be able to clip that later. But let's get rid of these tiles. I don't want them tonight. Oh, the chat's down here. Where is it? Much better. But yeah, this is the little system that I built that... Oh, that's cool. Look at that. It's a little system that I built that lets me wirelessly transmit additional video and audio sources into streams. Really bloody cool stuff, because YouTube doesn't support that. But does now. Alright, we should start winding this down. It's 3:30 my time. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. I hope everyone has a great one. This was a lot of fun tonight. Didn't do a ton of coding, but we did a lot of testing. So we'll pick the PSP stuff back up tomorrow. Keep tuned. Got a video to drop on the PSP stuff. I went ahead and edited it today. Hopefully I can get it out tomorrow. All right. Catch you later. Folks on Twitch, make sure you subscribe or follow so you can see this craziness tomorrow. There's always something, and people that watch these streams and actually type into live chat are literally directly part of it. Like, what was the recommendation I got tonight? Hyperswarm. Looking into Hyperswarm Web to step up our peer-to-peer game and getting the chats all working on the PSP. So, yeah. Appreciate your support. There's a Discord as well. Go ahead and drop that. I'm not sure if... Well, Twitch lets other people post links in my bloody videos, so I should be able to post one, right? There's a Discord... Oh, bloody hell. There's a Discord link, Twitch folks. Make sure you... click that if you can. Drop on the kick, why not? Alright. We click those Discord links. Catch you tomorrow. We're going to terminate the stream, literally in my system right here. I just go into this little OBS control panel up here. We're connected. And then as soon as I stop streaming, you will no longer hear from me.